In 1876, the German artist Adolph Menzel painted this self-portrait. The painting shows his own bare right foot stretched out in front of him, bearing the marks of 60 years of life slowly decaying under the weight of a growing sickness. Light falls from the upper left onto the veiny instep, while the shin, partially cropped by the lower edge of the painting, dissolves into shadow. His big toe leans slightly toward us, casting a shadow on the top of the foot. The foot itself casts a shadow to the right, which forms into something red, maybe some kind of cloth, or blood. Now, what exactly are we looking at here? It's an unusual subject, especially for the 19th century. Traditionally, bare feet appeared only in full-length figures, ancient sculptures, for example, or religious paintings. Simply by isolating it, Menzel elevates something completely ordinary, even low, and gives it an almost obtrusive importance. The same sense of importance that Vincent van Gogh, for example, would later give to a worn-out shoe or a simple wooden chair. This image becomes a manifesto of realism in the later 19th century. A realism, I think, of the most extreme kind. There's no setting, no symbolic background, just this one body part, isolated in space. It appears disturbingly fragmented when presented so singly and in such extreme frontality. A single, aging foot, rendered with such precision that it becomes almost abstract. Who would paint something like this? To no surprise, the same man who painted this, probably one of the most disturbing war paintings ever made. You see, even in his, for the time, highly controversial painting, After Dinner at Orno, the most famous realist, Gustave Courbet, at least gave us a sense of neutrality. If that painting, or his next one, A Burial at Orno, shocked the Paris Salon, I don't want to imagine what reaction this would have gotten. 2 weeks after the Battle of Königgrätz, Adolph Menzel traveled to Bohemia to make sketches. Due to his short stature, Menzel himself wasn't fit for military service, but he wanted to at least smell the war, as he wrote to a friend. On July 19th, he visited several places, including the battlefield, a military hospital, and a barn that had been converted into a morgue. His sketch shows the bodies of the fallen soldiers, emaciated and stripped down to their shirts, their limbs awkwardly arranged. To me, it almost looks as if someone had snuck a camera into the barn and taken a quick snapshot before anybody could notice. Menzel produced a total of 3 watercolor drawings on this trip, the existence of which only became known after his death. Do you notice a pattern? If 3 fallen soldiers in a barn shows death without heroism, then this shows life without illusion. Landscape painting was surprisingly controversial during the 19th century. Take this one, for example, John Constable's The White Horse. Can you figure out why? Here's another example. The problem was that paintings during that time were pretty much required to convey a moral message, even simple landscapes. But here, morality is nowhere to be found. The painting depicts Menzel's view from his own apartment in Berlin. The details only emerge around the edges. On the right, we can see the back of a new apartment building with an outdoor toilet in front of it. On the left, there's a small shed-like structure, just as out of place. The yard itself looks rough and torn up, projecting a dull yellow-brown, while a wooden trough from a water pump runs across the space and ends in a shallow pit of sand. But on the far side, almost easy to miss, a few children are playing, and suddenly our attention shifts to them, to this tiny, almost accidental moment of life in the middle of all that emptiness. So, is there a moral message after all? Is there a quiet optimism running through Menzel's work? I don't know. What I do know is that Menzel wasn't interested in telling us what to think. He wasn't trying to uplift or condemn or teach a lesson. He just looked and painted with an attention so honest it almost feels intrusive. And because of that, his paintings end up revealing more than any clear message ever could. And in a strange way, that honesty becomes its own kind of meaning. Not optimism, not pessimism, just a steady, almost stubborn refusal to look away.